Hey everybody, my name is Nate. Welcome to WASD 20. Today you are here for D&D Short Swords, a series where I give you tips, inspiration, and all that good stuff for your tabletop role-playing game, whether you are a DM or a player. I try to keep it very short. That's why I have my timer. Oh, there we go, starting it now. That's why I have my timer here, and I try to keep it pretty sharp and pointed as well for you. So, today we're going to be talking about another source of conflict for your tabletop role-playing game that can make for a good story. A story needs a problem. Last time we talked about plague, disease, and sickness, and how that can be an interesting storytelling form of conflict. And had some really good response to that, some good discussion going down in the comments below. Go back and join in on that if you want to. There's conflict or conversation going on about how magic in a traditional D&D world can often kind of weaken the effect of magic or of sickness, disease, etc., and maybe some frustration with that. So anyway, good conversation, a little bit of debate going on over there. But today we're going to be talking about a different source of conflict, and that is conflict rooted in a pantheon, deities, gods and goddesses, right? So in Dungeons and Dragons, there has traditionally been a pantheon that's kind of pulled from many real-world pantheons, and a lot of made-up stuff. But you know, I think, excuse me, if I don't choke here, I think we can say it's somewhat similar to maybe the Greek pantheon, where the gods are fairly involved. They are petty, certainly, and meddling in the affairs of humans, and they're competitive, right? They're very flawed, we could say. So if your game world has a pantheon, perhaps it's that kind. Now, perhaps you don't have any gods and goddesses because you just don't find it very interesting. You find it maybe getting a little too touchy with some real-world religion subjects. Or perhaps you're playing in a sci-fi world where it's just, hey, there's just science and exploration, the cosmos. So whatever the case, pantheon can make for a good source of conflict when you have, for example, competition. So that competition can play out in an Athens and Sparta type of way, where you have, this is our patron goddess and this is our patron god, and they're in conflict, and so we're in conflict, right? That can happen. So you can have competition like that people and the good creatures of your world, or evil creatures, pick sides, right? And that can cause war, and that can be a good source of conflict. You can also have cases, and this is kind of an interesting one. I'll just give lots of examples. Hopefully something here will inspire you. What if an evil god or goddess has been fairly weak and uninvolved, but now there's been some kind of awakening? Perhaps they have discovered something, an object of power, or there's been some kind of other change, or perhaps they have found an agent down here on Earth. I'll just say Earth for the sake of keeping it simple, even though most of you aren't running your games on Earth. An agent who now gives them an avenue to work out their very devious schemes, right? And that can be a good source of conflict, something that your players might discover fairly quickly, or it might take them a long time, depending on what layer this is in the conflicts of your game worlds. There are many layers of conflict, right? Perhaps, for example, a symptom could be disease and sickness, but as they peel back layers, they're finding that there is a cause related to the pantheon, a god or a goddess. Perhaps the agent of this evil god or goddess is not some huge, powerful villain, which that can be really interesting and fun. You automatically have this very real, frightening threat, but perhaps it's someone very unassuming, someone fairly weak, and perhaps they've even stumbled upon something by accident and have now been weaved into this and will maybe progress and change quite a bit to become the villain. So that can be interesting as well. Another thing to think about is maybe your group is not necessarily fighting against an evil. Perhaps they are fighting for a good or a neutral deity. Perhaps there has been some sort of contact that they have made through a cleric or through some other mysterious means, through maybe reading a prophecy that they have found, and now they have been weaved into this story. They are doing something for a god or a goddess, and they are being kind of propelled forward into something rather than necessarily against an evil. It could be propelled forward against evil things, certainly, but not necessarily an evil deity, right? So that's another possibility. The other thing, I'm stumbling on my words here, almost done. What if the conflict is not really a result of the battle between gods and goddesses? This is not their playground, this is not their battleground, but rather there are religious cults, and this could be a whole topic for a different video, religions and cults and fanatics who have, they're maybe not even identified anymore with a deity. They have taken things further away, or they've just started their own thing, and they are at conflict, right? And so I really love the idea of kind of cults. In what is it? Wheel of Time, the Wheel of Time series. There's the Children of the Light, and man, what they're just so good, so bad, but so good, right? It just makes for a really interesting story, and you've seen that sort of thing play out in many different places and many different stories too. Kind of these fanatical groups, Game of Thrones, right? We see these things play out, and they can make for some great drama and some great storytelling. So that could be a topic for a different video, just religions and cults and all that stuff, kind of detached from deities necessarily. But I'm going to end this one. I want to hear from you. What sorts of ideas does this inspire for you? How can gods and goddesses be a source of conflict in your game world? And what sorts of pitfalls can you foresee with including gods and goddesses as a major source of conflict in your game world? All right, everyone. Before I go, I got to tell you one more thing. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, me and Jake from Mini Terrain Domain are doing our mini painting adventure part 2. We're going to be finishing up Barnabas Frost here, so join us for that. And I am also going to be announcing at the very beginning of that stream the winners for this little contest giveaway thing I'm doing for reaching 20,000 subscribers. So make sure you go watch that video if you want to know how to win those prizes. You still do have time. All right, everybody, take care. You'll see me again very soon.